Good afternoon, friends, and welcome. My name is Jesse Oguntime, and I'm here with Doche. We like to call him Chubi. And this week, we are hosting our monthly club meeting with our investment club. We do this every other month. We do this to check ourselves to be sure that we are working according to our plan. We're investing, we are doing what is right. Our aim at the investment club is to make money, to manage our money effectively, and to grow our money. And we don't want to do it alone. We want to do it together as a collective. We want to be winning together as a team. So you're welcome. For this edition, our focus is reviewing how we have been doing mid-year for 2021. So the person who is going to be co-anchoring this session with me is Chubi. Chubi, can you say hi to our audience?
Yeah, hi, good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. It's a pleasure.
Good. So now, for me to introduce today's session, I'm going to be sharing basically what we're doing. If you receive this invite, we sent a couple of questions where we asked some few things that you can be thinking about just before you join this session. Now, a financial plan is like a roadmap. If you're going somewhere, you need to draw a roadmap for where you're going to ensure you're using the right route and you're getting there in the right time with the right thing. So you need a roadmap. So a financial plan is like your roadmap. And when you draw your financial plan at the end of the day, when you live your life, when you're going to for your job, when you're earning income, you know exactly how you can manage your money, how much money you're going to allocate here and there. So this is really key. So today, we want to say for those who have plans already, for 2021, for the better part of 2021, how have you been keeping to your plan? Have you been budgeting? Have you been saving towards emergency? We want to check that together. Then if there are a few things you need to make adjustment to, so you can bring out your pen and paper and be ready to record things you're going to adjust. There are different things that can make you make adjustment. Might be maybe you used to earn small before, now you're not earning more income. It could be because inflation has now risen and you need to adjust a few things, or you need to get extra income so as you can meet up your goal. These are the things we're going to be reviewing together. We're also going to provide an opportunity for you to ask questions. So this is like an housekeeping rule. When we're done, we're going to ask you can use the question and answer segment to ask questions. And then these questions will give us an opportunity to share more insight for you so that you can have a proper evaluation of your plan. Or even if you don't have a plan, you can finally make a plan. So you'll be able to use the question and answer box or the comment section for the chat to post your questions. And that will basically be it. So to kick the session started, I'm going to ask Doche to tell us a little bit about financial planning, how to do it, why we need to do it, and how to do the evaluation. So you have the floor, Chubi.
all right, thank you so much for that, Jesse. So again, good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Just a disclaimer. I have my laptop right in front of me, so I'm going to be reading. I have like a guideline for this conversation, so I might not always make eye contact. So, yeah, just so we get that. So the first thing we want to talk about what a financial plan is and why it's important in the first place. So a financial plan is basically a documented structure of our current financial position, our financial goals, and the strategies that we need to reach these financial goals, right? So it's important to have a financial plan because we have limited resources. We have things we want to achieve in our life, but we also have limited resources, limited financial resources to achieve these goals. So we have to strategically plan to make sure we're doing the best with our money, and we know exactly the goals that our finances are powering. So in reality, what this means is balancing our income, our expenditure, savings rates, and investments to make sure that we're all channeling towards the goal. It's also important to understand that a financial plan, so it's a personal financial plan, so it looks different for everyone. My financial plan will look a lot different from yours because I have different goals. I just have a different risk profile to yours. I'm probably in a different stage in my life than you are, so I have different set of responsibilities. Now, why is it important? So now we know that it's important to have a financial plan. So why is it important to review this financial plan, just like we are doing here today? It's important to do that because of life. Really, life changes. Our circumstances in life changes, and we go through different things and different phases. So when these changes happen, it's always good to go back to the drawing board and figure out what those changes mean to us going forward. So, like you rightly said, you might have like an increase in income. You might, your expenditure column might just be bumped up because of inflation or one reason or the other. Um, and we just have to just readjust. And you also think about major life stones in life. So you think about marriage, you think kids, you have new goals, you want to achieve new things. All these things make it important for us to go back and review this financial plan at periodic intervals. Now, if we're going straight to the review of our financial plan, um, there's a couple of branches in our personal finances that we want to look at. But before we even jump into that, the first thing that we need to review are our goals, because we know that money is just really a tool for us to achieve things in life, for us to do certain things in life, for us to get the kind of freedom that we need in life, right? So our goals are really the important thing that power the way our finances work, and the way we set up our finances. So the first thing to really review is our goals, right? So we would have set goals at the top of the year, and then we're halfway through the year and want to figure out what kind of progress have we made. That's the first thing that you want to talk about. Now, I have here a list of important financial goals that everyone should have. Now we have goals that are peculiar to, like, our our individual selves, but then there are also important financial goals that everybody just needs to have to get that stability. Now they start from like short term and range all the way to like long term goals. So for instance, your short term goal, like one of the first things that really you should get sorted out, is to be able to achieve the ability to live on less than you earn. So you want to be able to be spending less than you're making, so that you have some money aside to cater towards your savings and your investments. Now, the second thing you want to do, you definitely want to get out of debt. So you don't want to be carrying debts, because most times the rate at which your debt grows could be quicker than the ways that your investments are going. So you just want to make sure, if you have any personal loans, you want to sort them out and then focus on building going forward. You also want to have an emergency fund, again, because life is real, and life comes with you know things that events that we may not have seen coming. So you want to have an emergency fund just in case emergencies pop up. You don't want to be scrambling to liquidate investments that you have towards your long-term goals, just because there's this short-term emergency. You want to have like a fund to cater for that. You also want to have multiple streams of income, because that gives you like kind of like a income insurance just in case something happens to your current job. We saw last year during the pandemic, when everyone was locked up, um, demand changed, right? So people weren't going out as much as they were. That affected some businesses. Some people got pay cuts. Some people just lost their jobs entirely. An emergency fund can also help you scale through stuff like that. And also, if you had multiple streams of income, then it gives you a sort of way to balance out when things like that happen. Then at the long end of the stake, long range investment, long range financial goals, just investing for your retirement, because at some point we don't want to be working actively. We want to have that flexibility to just have more time to ourselves, right? So goals are the first thing that we want to review. And if we had set goals at the start of the year, we want to know where we are now. Um, and then if we haven't done that, we want to set goals, and we want to use um, the smart formula. So basically, the goals need to be specific, the goals need to be measurable. You also want them to be achievable. They have to be realistic, and then they also have to be time bound. So you need to have a time for the things that you want to achieve. So basically, for example, if you say you have a goal to like build an emergency savings, um, a smart goal would be you want to set aside $200 every month for, let's say, the next 12 months. So you have 12 months worth of expenses covered. Now, the second thing, so our goals, I started with goals because our goals really just influence the rest of the branches of our personal finance. Now, the first branch is our income. At this point, halfway through the year, you want to definitely, and income for us just starts with having like the majority of us starts with having a full-time job, right? A source of income. Now you want to at this point figure out what changes have been made to your income. Have you increased your income? Have you gotten a raise recently? Are you about to get a raise? Have you been able to secure additional sources of income? Again, just referencing the pandemic, and I hate referencing the pandemic, but I do a lot because it's 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 one event that's really just shown us how um, uncertain life can be, and how you have to just be ready to you have to be flexible enough to just withstand stuff like that in life. So again, going back to the pandemic, even some people got pay cuts. So what does that mean for so that means you have like a reduced income. What does that mean for your goals? Because that would affect your savings part, and that would affect the kind of expenses you make now, because you can't keep doing the same thing that you were doing when you were earning 100%. um and then also at some point you also find out that um based on your goals, it might also just be important to like try to increase your income. So at this point, I want to flag our the Rise affiliate program, which is a source of passive income, a potential source of passive income. So if you invest with Rise and you've invested over $50 in an active plan, you can basically refer people to the product. So if it works for you, you've created this great habit of setting money aside. Tell your friends and tell your families about it. Get them to download the app and sign up using your code. That way, you get 3% of um, every investment that you make for the next year, and that those commissions are paid out to you um, on a 3 months time frame. So that there is an example of like a passive income. Sometimes you just need to do things like that, things that just like support your income without necessarily taking so much of your time over the long term. And then for the second branch of our personal finances, it's our expenses, right? So from the beginning of the year till now, what has happened with your expenses? We know inflation is real. Um, Prices have been rising. How has that affected your own personal finances? Sometimes it might mean that we have to just change our habits sometimes and just cut down on certain things, and just to make sure that we are all balanced. And here's where a budget comes in, because those first two branches I mentioned, which is our income and our expenditure, are all captured in our budget. So if there's any major changes to any side, then you want to review that and figure out what that means for your goals going forward. And then this will also affect your savings and investing rates, which is the third and fourth branches that I want to that we have to review periodically. So again, like I said earlier, one of the goals is to make sure that we are living below our earnings. So we are spending less than we are making, because that difference is what we then allocate towards our savings and our investment. So there's really a difference between savings and investment, even though like they are used interchangeably sometimes. But savings are for much more short-term goals. So if you want to build up a 3 month emergency plan, um, that would work in a savings account, because you want to now, the goal of savings or the goals of reaching your short-term goals are basically, you want that money to be liquid. You want it to be accessible to you whenever you need it. You don't want too much risk on it, so that's why you would go. That's what savings are. But then for your much more medium and long-term goals, you really just want to like keep that money invested, to grow it, and also just to hedge against inflation, and stuff like that. And again, that's where your product like Rise comes in, for your much more medium to long term investments, your much more medium to long term personal goals. So you also just want to review this section as well. So if you've increased your income, or you found a way to just reduce your expenses, there's like a bigger portion of your financial resources going towards your investments. That means that you can reach your goals quicker. So if you achieve that sort of dynamic, you want to just make sure everything is just constantly being reviewed, so that you know that, okay, I have more money to save and invest. I can actually reach this goal 3 months or 6 months quicker than I thought I could at January. And then finally, is protection. That's the fifth part of our personal finances. So protection comes in the form of insurance. It's something that we don't talk too much about um, in this part of the world, but it's also a very key part of our financial plans. Um, so in certain workplaces, you get access to certain uh, insurance products or insurance services, right? But that's one important part that we just always miss out, because again, life is life, and there are just some things that you don't see coming. So just having a not too much, so you don't want to delve into it, but you want to have like certain basic things, medical insurance. If you have a vehicle, you definitely want to have like a little bit of that insured. Um, so yeah, these are basically the five uh, branches of our personal finances that we just want to uh, review and just think about what the changes in our economic environment are meaning to those sections of our personal finances. And the world constantly changes, circumstances change. We might just get older, and we have more knowledge, and then our risk appetite changes, our risk tolerance changes, and then we want much more, or we make more money, and then we want much more ambitious goals. So that's the level that we want to just constantly be thinking, so that at every point in time, the plans that we are making financially are just pushing us towards our goal. So at this point, Jesse, I think I'll just call it a wrap there.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you very much, Chubi. You did justice to that. Um, just to do a bit of a refresh for this session, if you have just joined us. So we've been talking about why it is important for us to do an evaluation of how we've been doing so far in the last 6 months in 2021 with regards to our personal finances. Um, whether you have a personal financial plan before now or you don't have, it's important to take your pen and paper and write down how you've been doing. If you have a plan, good, check your plan. How close or far you are from your plan. So Chubi has just shared with us a few elements of a good personal financial plan. Things that you need to have in your financial plan, such that when it's time for you to do a review, you can do a review. And he has also shared with us the reason why reviews are important. I mean, it's possible maybe at some point in time you're living in Nigeria and then you've not moved out of Nigeria. It would be good for you to do an evaluation. Did you get a pay cut? He mentioned a couple of those things. So that's what he has just finished talking about. Now, this is not a lecture session. So the point we're moving into now is to do the real work. Let's do our review. We want to do a review together. We want to help you do your own review. Let's take a look at how you have been doing. What are some of the things that are holding you back? What's stopping you from contributing consistently to your investment portfolio? What is causing you to be unable to meet your financial obligations? Could it be house rent? Could it be your regular contribution to your emergency fund? That's what we want to do now. So we're going to do it in two ways. You can raise your hand if you're in a quiet environment. Hello, can you still hear me, Chubi?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Good. So we're going to do it in two ways. One way will be if you're in a quiet place and you can talk, you can raise your hand. I will give you the opportunity to talk, and you can share with us how your plan is going. If you've met with any challenge along the way, and you can throw the question open and we can discuss it together. Or if there's a lesson you have learned so far doing your own personal review, you can share with us, and then every other person can enjoy from it. Then the second part will be, you can drop it as a question, and then we'll read the question, we'll discuss it, and we'll give you feedback. So there's chat, there's Q&A. I can see two people have already dropped questions in the Q&A. So those are the three parts. So if you want to talk, you can raise your hand, and then we'll get to you or drop your question. So I'm just going to go to a question I can see here now. The question says, if you could share some kind of template to help people put together a plan, even belatedly, that will help. So Chubi, I hope you can hear. Someone wants us to share a plan. So it's possible maybe Joshua doesn't have a plan currently. He wants to know how to set up a plan. Okay, I know one thing we can do is we're going to share a link to our Telegram group much later. So you can join our Telegram group. So we're going to put together a template, yes, and then we're going to send it to you. So it's a template, as the name implies. So it's not like a rule. You can use it and adapt it to your own situation and draw your own plan. I hope that helps, Joshua. So yes, I can see two people raising. Okay, they put down their hands. Okay, Ukpai Daniel. Okay, hands is down already again. Okay. Okay, let me see. Ayomide. All right, Ayomide, I'm going to allow you to talk now. Make sure you're in a good place where you can talk. 1 second. Okay, Ayomide, over to you. Ayomide, you can talk now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Starting off this year, I set up a plan to save some amount of money, though albeit it was quite small, because I look at myself that I earn below the average money and everything. So I was I'm trying to save about 150,000 in a year, even though that's very small and everything, but because of what I earn and everything. So I was thinking that that's what I can try to save. But so far so good. This is June. We're almost done with June, and I found myself that I've actually saved almost even close to that. So I feel maybe I even shortchanged myself in the a month I said I was going to save. I'm almost meeting it up and everything. So I feel like if you can actually cut down on your expenses and like save aggressively, and like do some gratification, like maybe chilling out with friends and how will I say it? Like some things that you get actually maybe giving out money to people that normally you wouldn't have given out. If you actually like check those things, you can save more aggressively. And I still actually does I just finished like my NYSC, so I still live with my parents. I don't really pay rent like that. So I don't really have like those expenses. So I'm trying to harness that and like save aggressively. But if you that's why I'm actually on this video meeting. If there are like more advice on what I can do to save more or maybe earn more income, or like maybe if there's a template that I can just use to trace or like measure how I can save more, I would like to like learn from learn from you guys, if you understand.
Thank you so much for your contribution, Ayomide. Chubi, did you hear what Ayomide said? Do you have any comment?
Yes. So I do. I heard what he said. The first thing I would say, Ayomide, is that you're actually making great progress, right? So you might say what your you might think your goals are small. So you said you wanted to save 150K in 12 months. You might think that's small, but I reckon what's actually more important is the fact that you've been able to even achieve that mindset. So to be able to even have that behavior, that habit of, setting a goal and then being consistent towards actually reaching that goal, because you find that the most important thing really in your journey, in our journey to financial independence, is really just the habits that we're able to pick up. So making those good money decisions, good money habits. Somebody can have like 10 million dollars given to them today, and if they have bad money habits, they would squander the whole thing. So really, I think all I'll just really say is to increase your savings and investments to reach your goals. It's really just that divide between income and expenditure. So you've already highlighted one important thing. You've found ways to cut expenses. So there are different hacks that you'd have to figure out what works for your own particular life. But the the mindset that I use personally is the minimalism mindset, right? So it's like, look at all the things that you're spending money on. Are those things just really, really important? And this is apart from the necessary bills or the necessary things that you need to, so things like transport to work, things like feeding, rent if you pay that, those things are important. But then the other things that like you spend money on, can you cut back on certain things? Are those things really just key to your long-term happiness, or are they just things that you're doing because of certain trends, or like whatever. So if you focus on the things that are really important to you, you find a way to like, all right, maybe I don't really need to do this, or maybe I can just do this in a different way, and that might just help me save some more money here. So that's the first thing. And then the second edge of the stick is income. So again, is the divide between income, the spread between income and expenses. So there are different ways to like try to increase income. You said you're an NYC student. So full-time employment would be, I don't know, maybe like the first thing that you're thinking about. And then if you get into that type of situation, you always want to just work on improving your value. So money really just comes from value. If you continually improve your productivity, improve the value that you're able to give, so that's like improve your experiences, improve the knowledge that you're the specialized knowledge that you're picking up, you find out that you'll be worth more and people would pay you more. And then there's also like passive income streams. There are different things that like you can explore to increase income and also to reduce expenses. But that's just the way you need to be thinking. How do I keep my expenses to a reasonable minimum, and how do I stretch income to a reasonable maximum, so that also you don't just commit too much time and just um, mess up your personal life as well. So there's a balance. So that's my response
Oh,
to that.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Great, Juby. Thank you so much. You've given Ayomide some jewels there. Ayomide, congrats, you're doing so well, but you can always improve. So take those comments to heart, and then thank you. Join our community on Telegram to keep learning more. So thank you. I'm going.
I think he's on our Telegram actually.
Oh, good, good, good. I'm going to give some other people opportunity to speak now. But before then, let me go to the question and answers. Okay. Ayo says my total paid in the month is 25K, but he doesn't pay electricity bill and house bill. How much should I set aside for investment? Okay, cool. I'm going to take that. So if you were here with us when we started, we spoke about why a financial plan is important. And you see the way Chubi and I are here, we work in the same place. We don't have the same savings rate, and we don't have the same amount of money that we save. So what is going to guide the amount of money you're going to save or invest is a couple of things. One, what are you investing for? How long do you have before you achieve the investment goal? Then, what is your risk profile? How much risk can you accommodate? Then, what are your bills like? I mean, how much money do you need to be able to take care of your monthly expenses? Like we usually say, expenses can be divided into two: the must have and the nice to have. The must have, you can't do without it, and or they contribute to your happiness. The nice to have, it doesn't subtract anything from you if you don't have it, but you sort of like it. So you have to first take care of the must have before you go to the nice have. So if you check that, then you can now say, okay, this is the percentage that I will have left to invest. But then this is another point to note. At the end of the day, it's possible that what you have left is not enough for you to invest towards your goal. Then there'll be need for you to stretch how much you're earning. Okay, so Ayo, that depends on your investment goal, your investment objective, how much you're earning, your risk profile, and how much it matters to you. Okay, now we'll be doing it one after the other. Now let me go to one person raising hand. James, I'm going to give you opportunity to talk now. Please make sure you're in a very quiet place so that we all can enjoy it. So I'm going to give you the ability to be able to speak now. 1 second. Okay, James, over to you.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, it's nice. Thank you for the opportunity for this lecture. So trying to reduce our financial stress, especially in the Nigerian environment here. So well, but I cannot continue to cry on over the speed it make. I wish I had this opportunity time before now. I'm a public servant in Nigeria. At least I have spent about 21 years in service. I believe I have about 14 years to go. So I wish all these things I'm learning now, I wish I had the opportunity before this time. So my own issue now, like based on my own analysis, with what with my own financial plan, based on my income, at least if it's on 20% to savings towards investments. So I supposed to be saving. I supposed to be having about almost more than 200,000 naira by this June, say worth of investment. But due to family pressure, it's only the issue of taking care of the family is coming from my end alone. My wife is not financially so active. Also, I have a building project that I've been. So I'm trying to bring out the things that are threats to my financial target now. Hello, are you with me?
Well, with you, and we can hear you loud and clear.
So like that issue of facing pressure now from my mother to complete that building, then the issue of taking care of the wife and the 3 kids. So but though based on at least I'm able to go towards 100,000 naira based on the investment. But by now, based on my own calculation, I'm supposed to be going around 200 by now.
Okay.
So I still also appreciate the idea people are going, people brought now thinking about other sources of income. So I believe I also wish to admonish some of our people that are very much younger in age, like the one that just finished service, that people should embrace this kind of opportunity. So also, I believe that if you can offer advice to me on other ways to minimize my own financial fortune. And also, like with my own experience, also I can see that it's good that you have multiple or different streams of income. Like the not that I'm trying to report my wife now, but he's the kind of person that won't believe only on salary work. But I believe that she's a kind of person that she believes only in apart from salary or paid job, there's no other thing that she can do. So I believe that this kind of orientation should be given to people that at least you can be earning, you can be doing a salary job and be doing different things, other things to earn money. So let me just cut the issue short so that to allow other people
All
to
right.
talk and
Thank you
react on
so
my own.
much, James. I have
Thank
really
you.
appreciated from you, your comments. One takeaway from me from your comment is it's never too late to start, whether you are young, whether you have been 20 years. So kudos to you, James. You have done so well. You have started and you're doing well. But the room that never gets filled is improvement. There will always be room for improvement. So just keep listening, join our Telegram group. Most importantly, find ways to extend how much you're earning.
I'm already in the Telegram group.
All right, good. And if there is anything that is like a leakage in your expenses, look at it very carefully and ensure that there's a difference between must have and nice to have. Like Chubi and I were talking yesterday, we need, it's a must have to move from one place to the other. But Chubi, is it a must have to have a car?
I mean, no, because you can move from one place to another with other, means of transport without actually owning a vehicle.
Yes.
But
Go on.
let me, yeah. So just listening to James there, and I was very grateful for him to just share, because that's a real life situation there, and it's also, it also gives us like insights, because then he's speaking from his perspective, and based on all the experience he's had, and even people who are younger can like listen to him, and learn things just by listening to where he talks about his own situation. But I think one thing that like I thought to mention when I was listening to him is, so someone is asking for the Telegram group. We'll post that. um so one thing that I picked up from what he was saying is there's something called black tax. It's a sensitive thing. We don't like to talk about it, especially coming from the culture that we come from. But there's this thing where you have your dependents, right? So you have your, if you're a family person, you have your wife, you have your kids, your mom, your parents, your direct dependents. But then black tax is when there's people around you, that just kind of just feed into your expenses, and you you have to be aware of that, and you just need to know when to say no, because sometimes we do all those things, and it's like you don't want to hurt other people's feelings, but sometimes you hurt your own financial situation by doing all those things. Sometimes it's also important to understand that, like, hey, right now I can't do this. I have my own commitments, I have my own family, I have things that I have to look after, so please just chill on this. So that's what black tax is. It's something that like really really feeds into our expenses, and something that we should be aware about. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, James. And I'm going to now go to one of the questions that we have here. How do I increase my stream of income as a student who has nothing and is living with his parents, middle class? I mean, Chubi mentioned this earlier, but just to say it again, do you know that the first thing we all need to invest in is ourselves? We talk about investment, investment, investment. The first investment should be in ourselves. Invest in our ability to add value, because when we add value, we generate income. The more value you can offer, and as long as people value what you're offering, the more income you can generate. And that's the reason why people want to do masters and PhD. If masters and PhD will not increase your value that people want to pay for, that might be a waste of your money. So think through that. So if you want to increase your stream of income, ask yourself, what value can I add? Then go in to do some research, and then develop yourself if you don't have any skill. Like if you're a student, your skill your only job shouldn't be just being a student. Students have a lot of spare time. As a young person, you probably have more time than I do. And like that. So explore it. And we have a previous session you can listen to on YouTube if you go to our YouTube page, where we did how to earn extra US dollar by offering your services on Upwork. That was what we did for last month. You can check it up. So there are several ways to increase your income. Okay, Chubi, do you want to say something about that to Olorun Femi, who asks how you can increase his income? And if they give you pocket money, do you spend all your pocket money to buy Xbox or PlayStation? Can you save some of them to pay for courses on Udemy or Coursera, or learn graphic designing, photography, front-end development? Even Google has some free courses you can take as well to do some jobs remotely. Yeah, Chubi?
Okay, so I guess what I want to say to that is being a student is also a very like important phase, talking about like your financial future, because it's it's really the phase where you have like the least financial responsibility. So you're not paying rent at this point, you're probably not paying your bills, you're just maybe going to school, and then you're even getting like financial support from your parents. So what that does is you have enough time. So you have a lot of time till when you actually get to like retire or like leave active work. So it's really the best time to start creating all those great habits, and no pressure on yourself, because you know you you want to take life like gradually, right? There's room for growth, so no pressure on yourself. But it's an important time to just start learning. And like Jesse just said, you get listen, you can invest in rice for $10, and you don't even need to, and that's less than 5,000 naira right now. You don't even need to have any technical know-how. Just understand what these assets do. The ones that like give you income, the ones that preserve your capital, the ones that like stretch your capital for you. Just understand what they do, and then put your money there. Make it a habit to be doing that. Because the important thing about investing, we always say this. It's more about like the time you have in the market than actually how much you have in the market. So you have a lot of time to like compound, both your money habits and the actual money that you're saving and investing. So it's just a really great time to just start thinking about all that. We have like a student ambassador program that we also just launched recently. Jesse, I just shared the link with you. Can you help us just post that up on the thing?
All right.
Yeah, so it's also just it's also just a way of like, it's like a referral program, right? So we want students in their universities first to be able to have good money habits. um Start investing now. Like I said, there's a product that allows you start with $10, less than 5,000 naira. Start doing that. Start building towards that. Actively doing this, and because when you start, the most important thing is starting. When you start, you build, right? The momentum builds, and the next thing you want to now start doing is, tell your students, your fellow students about it. Tell people within your social networks about it, and there you can also earn money from that, like through the whole referral process. So that's one way that you can just start. So all those small things, right? Just getting into all these things, building up yourself, and like Jesse said, building up your own human capital, right? Getting all those soft skills by doing going out, talking to people. You start learning things about marketing. You start learning things about like communication. You start learning how to like relate with people, and these are all the things that like will translate later for you when you go into like the workplace. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Chubi. A few other questions here, and I've already typed the answer there for them. They should please check the answers that I've typed. Now I'm going to go to one question here. Okay, that should be Solomon Amos. Please put in mind when you're talking, try to keep it short. We're almost running out of time. Go directly to your comment or your questions and give room so that we can allow others to talk as well. Solomon, over to you. Oh, I think I gave the wrong person opportunity to speak. Hold on, Adejoke. It's supposed to be Solomon.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thank you, Jesse and Chobi, for this great opportunity and also for this particular event. I think it's very necessary and very important for this day and age. Okay, and I've been listening to what you guys have been saying and also some of the contribution and questions from other participants. Okay, my contribution to this is like what you guys have said, just to add to it, like one of the important things that we need to learn this day and age is investing in ourselves. Okay, because that's the only way like for you to have that kind of financial freedom that we kind of clamor for. Okay, and investing in ourselves is more about upskilling ourselves. Okay, finding time to learn new skills. Okay, and how to double down on this skill to become somebody that is well known and recognized, and how you start helping people and offering services to people, because that's the only way I see it, and that's my own kind of my own plan, and that's how I go about it. And pretty much things have been working out very well. Okay, and there's this saying that says you can't invest your way or you can't trade your way to wealth. Okay, no matter how you plan to invest, like if you don't have that skill that kind of give you enough capital to invest, you just end up in this repeated cycle. Okay, so what I will always advise is pick up skills. Okay, right now with this opportunity of remote work, okay, you can even have a full-time job and still be offering services. Okay, with like the last stuff we had where they talk about different avenues where you can do things. Okay, like Upworks, Fiverr. You can just register on this platform. They are free. Okay, dig down. It's not very difficult. Just pick a particular skill you feel you're comfortable doing. You must not be an expert before you start picking up these skills. Okay, and just
sorry, Solomon. Don't say I'm stopping you, so that we don't distract completely from the broad topic of reevaluating where we are in our plan. This is just sort of a reminder so that we don't rehash what we've already spoken about too often. So please don't forget about the topic. We're reviewing where we are in our financial plan. This is mid-year and talking about strategies we applied to do better in the previous 6 months and what we plan to do in the following 6 months.
Yeah, I get you. I think I'm coming to that. I'm just kind of laying down the background. Thank you for that. Just to go straight to the topic is like the way I plan all my own strategies is this. So I have my full-time job where I earn my capital, and those capital takes care of my bills and all of that. Then I started having like side gigs, okay, where I offer services to companies. And the most important thing, the interesting thing about this is this company are kind of remote companies, okay? They are companies that you can offer services like all over the world, globally, okay? It's just you having the right skills. And once you do that, you find out that you don't even need to start thinking of when you or the amount you want to invest, because at every point in time, you have opportunity to make enough money. Like maybe this weekend now, if I need to make, let's say, $500 or $200, I know that I can rightly just go to this platform and just pick up jobs or tasks that I can help company do. And within a few hours, you provide that. And that helps you to have like spare capitals, or like that will help you to invest once you have, maybe you have a plan, like, okay, every month you have this amount of money that you need to invest. And with that skills, you find out that you don't have to maybe start being minimalistic. You can still live your life the way you want to live it, okay? And you know that once you need anything, you can easily just go render these services, these opportunities to companies, okay? And that will just help you to just scale, okay? And you found that your investments will just kind of do very well. So that's just what I feel I should let people be aware, okay? Just double down, pick those skills, okay? And once you acquire those skills, just look for those platform and start rendering services, okay? There are no barriers in doing this anymore, okay? With this remote work that is everywhere now, you can just go register and start rendering services, and that would just open lots of opportunities for you, and you don't need to start thinking of where to get capitals or how to kind of get money to invest. So that's just my little contribution.
All right, thank you very much, Solomon. We appreciate your contribution to the conversation that is going on. Thank you so much. Now,
Sorry,
go on.
Jesse, do you mind if I just ask Solomon a question?
Okay, sure. Although I've disabled his ability to talk, or he can still hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so Solomon, I just really wanted to ask, like, since you were able to increase your income, I don't know how recently this happened, but what how how did that change make an impact in your plans? So you increased your income. What did that translate to in your financial plan? Does that mean that like you have much more ambitious goals, or does that just mean that you're able to now achieve your goals in quicker time? How has that translated for you, Solomon?
Solomon, please raise your hand again so that I can see you. I'm looking for you here, but I can't find you. Okay.
Okay, Chiba, thank you for that question. Yeah, having the opportunity to increase my income, how does that translate to my plan and investment? Okay, one thing, it gives me like enough capital to invest more. Okay, so like let's say I have maybe plan, like one of the plan is to actually buy a house, like buy a house. Okay, that's actually maybe initially the amount I need to save to buy a house, like let's say maybe it's like $20,000 or $30,000. Okay, but with this increase in income, it just kind of quickened the process. Okay, so let's say the initial plan was to take like two years to achieve that. But when I started doing this remote work, I started last year to be precise, I found out that it just shortened the period. I just realized that within less than a year, I can actually achieve that. Okay, so that itself is the kind of opportunity you get when you increase your income. So it speed up your plans and shorten all those your investment plans that you have initially.
Chubi, did you hear? It's done speaking now.
Yes, I did. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Solomon, that is what we are all about. We like to share and enjoy how we are all doing, so that everyone can see that this is not just some privileged people doing this thing or just some few Nigerians, but it is something we all can do. Our plan was just for 16 minutes. Time is already well spent. Time really moves so fast when you're doing something of great impact. We have just 5 minutes to left, 5 minutes left. And this 5 minutes that is left is not enough for us to accommodate everyone. So please, we crave your indulgence to allow us to bring this to a close. But this is our promise. We are going to continue this conversation in our Telegram group. And the link to the Telegram group has already been shared in the comment. So please do very well to visit our Telegram group. We're going to post comments. And the recorded version of this session is also going to be on our YouTube channel. The link has already been posted. Now, most importantly, many of the people who are members of our investment club for more than 10 to 12 months who have been constantly in our communities, attending our weekly programs, have benefited greatly. A plan is key. Whether you have a flexible income as a freelancer, you're a salary earner, you're a student, you are someone who the only thing you have for now is pocket money from maybe your guardian or your parents, you can start now. Most importantly, with as little as $10, you can start creating a plan on RiseVest. Now, it's possible for you to say, what are you going to do by investing only $10? It's such a small money. This is just about 5,000 naira. Now, it's important for you to develop the habit. It is that same habit that will grow with you when you are able to save or when you are able to come by $10,000. But if you don't develop that habit, $10,000 will come in your hand and you blow it all off in a TGIFD. I'm telling you, that's how it is. Focus on the habit. Now, once the habit becomes, once it becomes a habit, when you're becoming more financially responsible with the way you handle your money and put aside emergency fund, savings, and put aside some for your investing, when you increase how much money comes into your pocket, either by getting a job, getting a promotion, or getting a side hustle, it's going to be a lot easier for you to allocate a larger percentage towards your goal. So please, we encourage us to go back to our drawing board, review our plans, see areas where we can do better. Do we need to increase our income? Do you have Amazon Prime, Netflix, Disney Plus, DSTV? You have all of them because you enjoy having life, because life is once, you want to live it. Maybe you need to review how you're spending. It's possible that you're spending more than you should, but it's not for us to tell you how you manage your money. But the more you don't have control over your expenses, the more stress you have. And most importantly, RiseVest is ready to take the stress off you. RiseVest is a stress-free wealth management in global assets. We protect your funds against inflation that happens to Naira. Professionals are behind the management of these funds, and we don't invest in reckless investments that closes up and causes your fund to disappear. So while you're focusing on spending your money more frugally and increasing your income, let us take the stress of investing the money off you. If you don't have the RiseVest app, okay, I think there's a link that I can share with you. You can get the RiseVest app today and begin to, okay, I'm going to share the link just now. 1 second, I'm going to post it. Okay, 1 second. Yes, feel free to get it and begin your journey to stress-free investing. So this is going to be the end for today's session, but this is not the end of investing. But I'm going to just give Chubi an opportunity to say his own last words, and then we'll be done for today.
Oh yeah. So for last words, I guess all I want to just say is thank you for everyone who's thank you to everyone who's attended this session. I always like when we have conversations, actionable conversations as a community, because the things that we need to do to achieve our long-term financial goals, and the the most popular like long-time financial goal is just to have like financial freedom, to have that flexibility, and then when you're passing, to be able to pass down wealth to the generation that's coming, below. So as we try to like getting to that point requires us to um consistently learn and unlearn, consistently do good things with our money, to make good decisions with our money, in terms of making the money, in terms of how we spend the money, in terms of how we invest the money, right? So it always works better when you learn together, and it just helps change behavior. So I guess finally, what I would also say is these things are not lectures, right? These things are not. We're not here to just talk about things and just call it a day. We're here to actually learn things that help us change our behavior, help us. We need to basically take the information that we get from each other and actually put them into action, so that we are not just learning things, but we're actually implementing and actually changing our lives, our financial lives. So yeah, that's just it. It's always a pleasure to engage with us, and yeah.
Thank you, Chubi, for being an incredible co-moderator in this month's session. Well, next month, we're coming back to you with something more incredible. We want to be able to come back in the next 6 months while we'll do a review of the full year and see that some of the things we've discussed today, you have committed to it. You see, I tell you one thing. There's a proverb my mom used to tell me that if a tiny snake walks alone, the snake is going to lose its life very easily. But if 1,000 tiny snakes are moving, no one will have the courage to go against them. Investing alone or handling your finances alone can be hard and frustrating. But if you join a community like that of Rise, you will never walk alone. Thank you so much, guys, and have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye for now.